Hello everybody, welcome to Story Time. I'm your host, Zack Scott, and in this edition, we will be reading the amazing, fantastic story, Haunted House. Written and illustrated by Zack Scott. Haunted House was written in 1995. I was in 7th grade in junior high, and our assignment was to write like a full novel. And we had to bind it and do artwork and all the covers ourselves. And as you can see, the letters here, Haunted House, are surrounded in blood. There's a zombie here, a chainsaw maniac here, and a crazy werewolf. Right there, huh? I actually typed out all of these pages. This is before I had a word processor. So everything's typed out with a typewriter. And then I did the illustrations by hand with colored pencil. So let's begin. This may not be appropriate for young children, but I was only in 7th grade when I wrote this, so it can't be that bad. "Come on, Mike, let me have a chance," my 7-year-old brother Jeff whined. He was whining over a video game because I was beating him. So I guess this is told in first person, by the way. I just laughed to myself, ignoring him. My friends, my brother, and I were all at the video arcade in Pine Mall. Sarah, Mac, Julie, and Chris are my friends. Mac is my best friend. We have known each other since the 1st grade. Mac and I usually come to the arcade together a bunch. We are both 13 years old, just like my other friends. Sarah is also one of my best friends. She is really outgoing and will do just about anything you dare her to do. Whoa. Julie is Sarah's best friend. Julie is sort of shy in a way. When I first met her, she barely said a word. We do a bunch of stuff with her because we do a bunch of stuff with Sarah. She'll do anything you dare her to. All right. Chris is sort of new around here. I only met him last year. We have become best friends over the last year, though. The guy, the narrator, is best friends with, so far, Mac, his best friend, Sarah, also one of his best friends, and Chris, who just became his best friend over the last year. All right. He is really smart and is in honor classes. You have me, Mike, who I consider myself just a normal guy. I enjoy horror stuff, television, and sports, plus a bunch of other stuff that people my age like. You also have my really annoying brother, Jeff. He tries to hang around us and be involved with the things that we do all the time. He is a really whiny baby. If he doesn't get his way, he whines. We are also going to have to take him to our haunted house visit tonight. He really got scared last year, so I don't know why he wants to go this year. Last year, when we were all walking through a haunted jail, Sarah really scared Jeff bad. See, the special effects really spooked Jeff, and not knowing if something was going to jump out at him or not, put him in suspense. Then, all of a sudden, Sarah jumped out and tackled Jeff. That really freaked Jeff out. That would probably freak me out too. I mean, it was funny and everything, but Jeff was so scared that he started to cry. It probably wouldn't be as scary for him this year because we weren't going to a major haunted house this year. You know, like the ones that are owned by theme parks or anything. This year we're going to a place called Psycho Manor or something. Last year we went to Monster Mansion, which was owned by Pine Park. Anyway, Jeff thinks this won't be as scary, so he wants to go. All of us thought that it wouldn't be as scary. Boy, were we in a big surprise. Foreshadowing. I like the narrator. He talks in a very casual style, and I think it translates well to the printed page. A few hours after we ate lunch, I went home so I could get ready for tonight. It was a few hours before dark and the opening of the haunted house. Jeff was really annoying me when I was trying to get ready. Sometimes I feel like just hitting him right in the face. One time I actually did, but I got grounded for 2 weeks, so I just left him alone. I ate dinner, combed my hair, and a bunch of other stuff. Then I waited in my room for Chris to come pick us up. He and his mom were going to take us all to the haunted house. I waited for a couple more minutes, then the doorbell rang. I ran to the door. Just as I thought, it was Chris. "Are you ready?" asked Chris. "Yes," I said. "Bye, Mom. Bye, Dad." I yelled goodbye. Jeff said goodbye too. We ran to Chris's car. Max, Sarah, and Julie were already in the car. We hopped in, buckled up, and drove off. So this is probably like, instead of a car, it's probably like, I know I said it was a car, but I think it's more like a minivan, because you have Chris, his mom, Mac, Sarah, Julie, lead character Mike, and Jeff. It's 7 people in this vehicle. Just notice that. It took about 30 minutes to get there. As we pulled up in the drive, we all stared in amazement. We really didn't know this place was going to be this big. Wow, look how big this place is, Julie exclaimed. Yeah, Jeff agreed. This place is really cool, Sarah added. Yeah, Jeff agreed. This is bigger than last year's haunted house, I also added. Definitely, Mac agreed. Well, bye, Mom, Chris said, eager to go. We all started to run up to this place. We came upon a sign, and we stopped to look at it. It said, "Warning, we do not take responsibility for any accidents or mishaps in anyone's life." That's strange, I thought. We all sort of shrugged it off and ran up to the door. We stood there for someone to attend us. We all stood there for a few minutes, and then we started to get impatient. I wonder what is taking so long, Mac asked. Me too, Jeff also wondered. We all waited there for a little while longer. We all were starting to get really annoyed. I wonder why it was taking them so long. Are they closed? Do they not know we are here? Hello, Mac yelled, banging on the door. No reply. Gosh, man, what is taking them so long? Sarah asked. Oh, and here we go. The first illustration. It's the haunted house. What if this place is closed? Chris asked. My mom said she would be here at 11. We'll be waiting here for about 3 hours if no one attends us. That's what the phrasing, attend us. Anyway. Great, now what will we do? Julie asked. This place shouldn't be closed. I saw on a poster that this place would be open tonight, Halloween. Just as those thoughts ran through my mind, fog started to rise up from the ground. It soon got so thick that we couldn't see anything. Okay, just a fair warning, guys, it's starting to get really suspenseful, so if you're scared, stop the video, because it's about to get crazy. What's going on? I heard Chris ask. Just then, something grabbed my shoulder from behind me. I swooped around, but I couldn't see anything. Then I heard someone scream. Something grabbed my shoulders again. I turned around, but I still couldn't see anything. What was this? Then the fog started to clear. I could see that my friends and my brother were all okay. I began to realize what was going on. This was all part of the show. Then a guy who was dressed like a zombie came up to us. Welcome to Psycho Manor, he began in a deep voice. Redo. Welcome to Psycho Manor, he began in a deep voice. You will journey through a place of horror, a place of terror, and a place of death. Ha 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 ha. He paused. You may now enter Psycho Manor. Ha 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 ha. He pointed to the door. We all ran to the door, opened it, and went in. That was a really annoying part of the haunted house, Matt commented. Yeah, Jeff agreed. We looked forward. We had a choice between 2 doors. On one of the doors, it said Monster Island. On the other door, it said Maniac Men. Maniac Men. Which one? Sarah asked. I say Monster Island, Mac declared. Yeah, Jeff agreed. Jeff agrees with everything. No way. I say Maniac Men, Julie declared. I have an idea, I began. Let's flip a coin, I mentioned, pulling out a nickel. They all agreed to that. Heads is Monster Island. Tails is Maniac Men, I declared. They all agreed to do that too. I flipped the coin. It twirled in the air. What would it land on? It landed. I looked down at it. Tails. Such suspense. I guess it's Maniac Men then, Jeff said disappointedly. We opened the Maniac Men door. We went in. The place that we went in looked like a hospital or something. An empty hospital. Hey, there isn't a trail or anything for us to follow, Chris pointed out. That's strange. There usually is. At least there was one in Monster Mansion last year. This place just has a wide open area. Hey, what's that noise? Mac asked. I listened. I heard it too. It sounded like a machine or something. Is the sound getting closer? Let's go this way, Chris suggested. He started to go over to a door. We followed him. The sound seemed to be getting closer and closer as we moved. Boom! The door busted open right in front of our face. In the doorway stood a masked man with a chainsaw in his hand. He jumped at us and took a slash with his chainsaw. We all jumped back, trying to dodge the chainsaw. The chainsaw man then started walking slowly towards us. We all started to run. "You can run, but you can't hide," he yelled. We all started to run as fast as we could. We ran into what looked like an operating room or something. "That was way cool," Sarah exclaimed. "Yeah," Jeff agreed. "Now which way do we go?" Julie asked. "Beats me," I replied. I guess they're all calm now. My heart is still pounding. "What do you think, Chris?" Mac asked him. "I don't think this is very fun anymore," Chris began. "Huh? What do you mean?" Sarah asked. "Otto, it's just fiction." "I mean, he really cut me!" Chris exclaimed. "What?" Sarah began, but was interrupted by sounds of more chainsaws. "Oh no," I heard Julie whisper. "This way," Mac yelled, pointing to a door to the left of us. We all followed him. Boom! The door busted open just like the other one did. Standing in the doorway was the chainsaw guy. "Like I said, you can run, but you can't hide," he yelled. Then chuckled to himself. "Come on this way," Mac yelled, running towards the door we came in. We all started to follow him. Boom! Now this door busted open. Standing there was another chainsaw guy. They had us trapped. The new chainsaw guy was getting closer. Closer. He grabbed my shoulders. "Ah!" I screamed. What was he going to do? Was he going to kill me? To my surprise, he pushed me out of the way and walked past us. What was he going to do? He started walking towards the other guy. Not us. He walked up to the first guy and slashed at him with his chainsaw. The first jumped back and took a slash at the second. They started to get into a big fight, trading off slashes. The first threw a slash at the second's head. I act like it's like throwing punches or something. He threw a slash. Okay, the first threw a slash at the second's head. The second ducked, then threw a deep upward slash to the first's stomach. Which I don't even know which one's which. He made a deep cut, enough to kill him. Blood flew everywhere from the first stomach, and the second kept his chainsaw in there, where it kept grinding up the first stomach. Then, the first chainsaw man fell to the ground with a blood-curdling thud. Here's the illustration. 7th grade. I don't know if any of the teachers were concerned for me or not. The second chainsaw man turned off his chainsaw. He had killed the other guy. Then he started to approach us. He came up to us and pulled off his mask. He was a broad, tall man. "My name is Daniel," he introduced himself. "Hi," Max stammered out. "We all have to get out of here," Daniel informed us. "What?" I stammered out because I was so confused. This is a confusing situation. "They're trying to kill you," Daniel said. "Why?" I also stammered. "I do not know," Daniel said. Then he started to explain all of this. "Some maniacs opened this haunted house to kill people. See, this used to be like a refuge for monsters or something like that. Then these people took over this place or something and turned the monsters to slaves or something." I like how none of my characters are very sure about anything. They always add or something to the end. Then they opened up this place to kill people for some reason. I heard about all this and came here to try to stop them. Now I realize that this place is too dangerous, so I'm trying to get out. Then I run into you guys, so I might as well help you too. I got this equipment from a storage closet. Come on, I'll patch up that wound that kid has," Daniel finished, pointing to Chris. After we finished listening to what Daniel told us, which in fact we could hardly believe, we followed him to a storage room where he patched up Chris's wound and got more weapons. "Come on, follow me," Daniel ordered. We followed him to a door. We opened it and went through. It led outside. "We can get out now," I yelled. "No," Daniel began. "This outside area is surrounded by a 20-foot high electric fence." That really got our hopes down. "Let's go," Daniel ordered. We all followed him into a maze of hedges. We took many turns trying to figure out which way to go. None of us had any idea where we were going. We just wanted to get out of here, and fast. Just then, we took a wrong turn. We came across some wandering zombies. They must have heard us, because they turned around and started walking towards us. "Run!" Daniel yelled. We all had already started to run. Now, zombies were everywhere, no matter where we went. Here's an illustration of a zombie in a hedge maze. Pretty cool, huh? I turned around to look back, and then I ran into something in front of me. I turned around to look at what I had ran into. I saw a zombie standing right in front of me. It was the same one who greeted us at the door. I tried to run, but the zombie guy grabbed me, pulled out a knife, and held it at my neck. I gasped. What was he going to do? Was he going to kill me? Or was he going to help me, just like Daniel did? Just as those questions ran through my mind, Daniel came around the corner with a knife in his hand. "Don't even think about it," the zombie guy ordered. "Just slide the knife over to me." Daniel paused. "Now," the zombie guy commanded, "or the kid dies." I had no idea what to do. I was really scared. Daniel acted as if he was going to slide the knife on the ground, but instead, he threw it at me. It landed in my hands. What a gamble. But Daniel, I bet, is a professional hockey player, chainsaw guy, so. I immediately knew what to do with it, but how I was supposed to do it was the problem. I flew my arm back and tried to stab the zombie guy behind me, and I missed? It's a question mark. And I missed? Just then, the zombie guy grabbed the knife, and he now held them both to my throat. Oh man, this is, by the way, an illustration of what's going on. There's the zombie guy, that's me. The author, Mike, with some sort of sports jersey. But he likes sports and stuff that normal kids like, so understandable. There you go, there's the zombie guy, man, this is brutal. That was a big mistake, the zombie guy said. I don't think so, Daniel said. All of a sudden, Daniel kicked the zombie guy's legs, and the zombie guy fell down and dropped the knives. I think that's what you're supposed to do in a hostage situation. Daniel picked up the knives and held one to the zombie guy. I know that you know the way out of here, so get us out, Daniel ordered. Yeah, okay, the zombie guy said. Follow me. I don't know if I would trust him yet. We followed the guy around the corner where my friends and my brother were hiding. Come on, Daniel ordered. It's safe. I don't know. They all got up and followed the guy too. He led us through the maze and to a door. He opened the door and let us in. I looked up. I saw a sign that said Monster Island on it. Wait, I yelled. Too late. The guy shut the door. Daniel tried to pull the door open, but it was locked. We were trapped in. Now what do we do? I heard my brother ask. Stay calm, Daniel instructed. Everything was pitch black. We couldn't see a thing. What was this place going to be like? Are we trapped in here? Just as those questions were going through my mind, the lights came on. It looked as if we were right behind a short mountain. Just then we heard howls. We turned towards the mountain. We saw werewolves. Get really low, Daniel commanded as he got down on the ground. Here are the werewolf blob creatures on the mountain. We all did the same thing. We all saw a distant doorway. Then we all started to crawl towards it. We were almost there. I hope the werewolves don't see us. Just a little way to go. What? What is this? I felt something on me. I looked down. Ants! Ants are crawling all over me. Ants are crawling all over me, Sarah shrieked. Oh, me too, Julie yelled. Then I realized everyone had ants on them. We all screamed, got up, and started running to the door. No, wait, Daniel called out. Too late. The werewolves heard us. They turned around and started to run after us. Daniel ran to catch up with us. Hey, wait, he began. I lost my chainsaw. What? Chris began, shocked, but was interrupted by the werewolves. Go, Daniel yelled, holding the door open. My friends and I all ran through the door. All of a sudden, a werewolf jumped Daniel. He landed on the ground. Then all of the werewolves piled up on him. He struggled to get up. He had no defense except for himself. He kept on struggling. Finally, he got up. All the werewolves had been attacking him. He had been badly wounded. He kept on trying to hold the werewolves back. He reached back with one hand and opened the door. He kept holding the werewolves back. Finally, he slipped through the door and slammed it shut. He slumped to the ground. He was badly wounded and exhausted. Here's the illustration of the werewolf wearing cutoff shorts, of course, attacking Daniel. We all sat down on the ground to rest. We knew it wasn't over yet, but we needed rest. Just then we heard a banging on the door. "Help!" a voice called. "What? Who was that?" Then I heard it again. "Help!" Then I realized who it was. It was Jeff. "Help! They're getting closer!" Jeff yelled. "Jeff!" I yelled. I did not care how annoying he was. We had to save him. All of my friends were standing nervously. We all could hear the werewolves behind the door. "We have to do something," I shouted. Daniel looked up at me. I could tell that he was still exhausted. But just then, he opened the door, grabbed Jeff, who was leaning against the door, and slammed the door right in the werewolf's face. Take that, werewolves. Jeff was shaking all over. He was really scared. Last year, he got really scared. Last year, it was funny. This time is not funny. Now that we were all away from the werewolves, we were in the dark again, and we could only guess what it would be like when the lights came on. "I am really scared," Julie stated. Everyone else agreed. I knew they all were. We all were. Just then the lights came on. It looked as if we were in the middle of a cave or something, and a mud pit was in the middle of it. Dun dun dun, mud pit, illustration. I looked around, then I saw something. I saw a sign on the other wall. It was an exit sign. "Guys, look," I said, pointing to the sign. They all saw it too. "How are we going to do this?" Mac asked, pointing out the big mud pit in the center, blocking our way. None of us knew, but we knew we had to. Just then we heard sliding noises, like something was being pushed on the ground. All of a sudden we saw hundreds of snakes slithering on the ground, coming after us. First ants and now snakes. Ew. We had to jump in the mud. I kept telling myself not to worry. It looked only about 10 to 20 feet long. Piece of cake, right? Swimming through mud. "Come on," Daniel yelled, then jumped in. We all followed him. We did not want to be bit by the snake. The mud was too thick to swim through. We had to wade through it. We all started to force through the mud. "Eek! Something's got me," I heard Sarah yell. We all turned around. It looked as if she was being pulled under. Just then, she did go under. Daniel jumped over to her. He reached under and pulled her up through the thick mud. She was gasping for air. Chris got out of the mud, then Mac, then Julie. Then Daniel carried Sarah and got her out. Then Jeff crawled out. Whoa, suspenseful. I only had about 2 more feet. "Come on," I heard them yell. 1 more foot. Just then, something grabbed my foot. It was pulling me under. What was it doing? Then it pulled me under. I couldn't see a thing, nor could I breathe. Wasn't someone going to help me? Then something grabbed me. It pulled me up out of the mud. It was Daniel. Yes, we were all safe. We all ran to the door and opened it. This is all over. We all stepped outside. Then I remembered that Chris's mom was going to pick us up at 11. "Chris," I began, being not so confident now. "What time is it?" 5 till 11, he replied. "Great!" Just then we saw a car coming. It was Chris's. I turned around facing Daniel. "Daniel, thanks. Thanks for saving our lives. Thanks for everything," I said. "Welcome, kid," he said. He was still exhausted. My brother and my friends said thanks and goodbye. "See you around, kids." Daniel said goodbye. There would be no way she would believe us if we told her the truth. She didn't seem to notice the mud, because they're all covered in mud. We all buckled up. "That was scary," Sarah whispered. We all agreed. I turned around to wave bye to Daniel. He was lying on the ground, shaking. Thin hair started to sprout out of him. He was turning into a werewolf. The end. Question mark. And there's a picture of him turning into a werewolf. Twist ending. I was a big fan of R.L. Stine as a kid. You know, sometimes I write short reviews of R.L. Stine books on Twitter, and it's just a joke. But he was really a huge inspiration for me at this time in my life. And I wrote a story that was similar to Goosebumps, I believe. Well, there we go. There we have it. Haunted House, written and illustrated by Zack Scott, printed and published by Pyro Press. I plan on writing a sequel, Haunted House 2, The Search for Daniel, and I advertised it at the end of here, but it was never written. If you guys want to write it, feel free to do so. Post some plot ideas in the comments below. Here's the brief description. After last year's visit to the haunted house, they did not want to go there again, but they had to rescue Daniel. Daniel had turned into a werewolf. When they got there, there were many, many werewolves. So which one was Daniel? It's kind of like I could picture the next story in my mind being like one of those things where like, which one do I shoot? Type situation, but instead of just 2 people, they're like 30. Yeah, I never wrote that. It's kind of funny that they didn't go back until a year later to rescue him, but you can only go to so many haunted houses a year, right? Anyway, that's all. Thank you guys. I'm sorry this was so long, but thank you guys for sitting and listening to my amazing story, Haunted House. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And keep reading.